Welcome home. Today, we played The First Tree. This was one of the prettiest games I have ever played, and it was extremely emotional. I wasn't even expecting this. You can catch the full-length VOD over on my second channel, and the whole thing was streamed live on Twitch, so if you want to participate next time, make sure you're over there. Also, this entire channel is incredibly new, so if you want to drop a subscribe down below, it would mean the world to me, and remember, you can always change your mind later. That being said, let's get right into the game. Here we go. Press enter to start. Yes, sir. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Hope this goes well. If music gets too loud, let me know, and I'll adjust. Oh. Oh, 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 hello. Hello.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. You should get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know. It seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
This is gorgeous. Okay, for somebody who had said that this game was like low budget, that is absolutely insanely pretty. I don't know if I'm gonna have much else to say other than just like how gorgeous this is. God, look at that. The perspective. Uh-oh. Oh. 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 No. 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 Why?
So, not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
Why? I don't want this. Can we quit this game? Let's play something else. I don't... No. Okay. Bye, friend. I hate this. I hate
She
this.
couldn't stay, though. She had to find her other two children,
I have more kids.
so she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
Holy shit, this is pretty. Oh, the rain. The rain sound, holy crap.
The fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own.
The wisps.
The land was trying to tell my story, too.
You could change your destiny,
I
would you?
felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
If you could change your fate. God, this music is pretty. What's that? This music. What is this? I know there's not lights over here, but what is it? It's a playground. I want to go to the playground. Can I go inside? Oh. I got it. Oh. Let's see. It's an airplane. What is that? Wait, is that a thing? Because there's another one over here. There was another one of those over here. Did you guys see that? Remember? That one. Am I supposed to go to that? I thought it was like a world border. Yeah, am I supposed to go to these? Yeah, there's like a thingy over here. See? Bunnies! Hello. I can hear the rain. Hello. What's this? It looks like it has a story to tell.
As a kid, did you ever do show and tell in your class?
Yeah, I think I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade.
It's a boat.
You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly. For me, it was another toy from my dad, a wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friend had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all.
I always hated show and tell, I'll be honest. I wasn't a kid that had a lot to show, to be honest. I was always the kid that would bring in like stupid stuff that I had made, or the pretty rocks, like a shell that I had found.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father. Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad a sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I've pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
How do I get up there? I gotta get up. This tank is so cool. Gotta get up. There we go. God, to stand here. Wow. It's like a giant shoe print. God, it's pretty. Oh, to fly. Ooh. Like, there was always something like, aw. There was always something like pressuring and stressful about show and tell instead of it actually being any fun. Like, it just, I don't know. It felt like you somehow had to use show and tell to prove that you were just as cool as everybody else. Like, there's something about trying to be worthy. It just felt weird. Like, you always, it's like kids one-upping each other instead of just talking. School bus. Yeah, show and tell is such a strange thought. Like, I know it's like a good idea to be able to let kids talk about themselves, but less so when it's like a competition.
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home.
Me too, dude.
I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
Oh, I missed it. I got it. Hate that. God, I hated school. Oh, no. Why is it dark? Wait, come back. Oh. Oh. Oh, hello. I don't think I was done with that area yet. I didn't mean to do that. I feel like there was still a lot to do over there. I guess it was just time for a new season. Butterflies. God, it's pretty. Alright, let's see.
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble.
Same.
I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom. So I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
God, it's pretty. I want to go up this. Yes. I know for a fact I'm gonna miss a bunch because there's like 100 and something of them. Oh, well. Guess I'm going down. I didn't mean to fall off yet. But it looks like there's a bunch of stuff down here. And there's a truck over there. What is this? Hello? Oh. Hello. I have friends. Let's go get more of them. Wait, come back. Okay, so can I not jump? Okay, so I can't jump. No rumble. You can like feel the waterfall. You can like feel it, like physically feel it. Oh, but I can't wait, I have to get up, but without. Aww. Wait, no, I lost my butterflies. Oh wait, I have to start high up. That's why. So if I start up here. And then go get these. And then I can climb the rock from the back and fall down and then grab it. Okay, and then if I fall down here, see, I just had to slip down. Butterflies. But now what? Are there more somewhere? I saw that, but like, what do I do with the butterflies? Oh. I gotta figure out what the butterflies do. Because when I jump, they all go away.
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was gonna be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but...
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me. My friends would laugh about that night and talk about how crazy it was, and I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush, unable to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over. That was my only goal for a long time.
Yeah, the idea of having to escape. And like the whole idea of just, I need something more. I'm bored. I don't want to sit behind a desk. I don't want to do the same thing every day. I just need something more. Something exciting.
There was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape. Nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
I love the idea, the comment on if I could just find a way to make life with my art, nothing in the world would make me happier. Nothing in the entire world. If there's just a way to make art and make other people happy. Oh, I'm loading. Ooh. Hello. I know I'm supposed to go that way, but there's a story over here. I hope I haven't missed anything. I feel like there's so many things I missed. Like there's like pieces of the story I haven't found yet. There's so many like things I want to go back. Ooh. I don't just want to like speed run this. Yeah, see, I don't want to miss anything. The music. I don't get it. Oh. I get it. Okay, so that's one. Alright, so I've got to find the others then. Ooh, there's light over there. House.
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
I see some light over here. I was a mermaid kid personally. I also was a mermaid kid, I'll be honest. I think I was just about everything you could be as a kid. Because, like, I was absolutely a mermaid kid. Being underwater is, like, as close as I've ever gotten to flying. So I would spend so much time just floating in the water and seeing how long I could hold my breath so that I could just float and feel just completely weightless. It was, like, one of my favorite things to do. Oh, there's the sharp branches. Okay. Ooh. That's two. Who's Joseph? Oh, there was a tree like this where I grew up. One that was bent like this. It was because in a time before I was born, one of the people in my family had crashed their car into the tree when it was really young, and it wrapped his car around the tree, and it bent the tree so badly that it aged like that. And there was always a spot on the inside of the tree that just never had, like, bark. It never grew back.
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
It's funny we're talking about all this today, because I did just see my biological dad today for, no more than a minute. I was visiting grandfather B, because it's been busy, and I haven't had time to talk with him much. So I made sure to take some time today. And right as I was leaving, my biological dad popped in. So right as I was leaving, so I gave him a hug and said hi. And he misgendered me at first, but corrected himself really quickly. And said that he was gonna make sure that he was gonna hunt me down so we could talk sometime. And I know he wants to talk, but I'm still figuring it out if I'm ready for that. So, we'll see. You guys don't need to know this, but this game's got me all sentimental.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes, the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though.
MP Busted, thank you for the
There's
follow.
nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
I'm sure I'm doing this wrong. This doesn't seem like I'm supposed to be able to climb on it, but I'm trying to figure out how to get there. There's gotta be a way up. I'm doing it wrong, guys. I'm breaking it. I've hit the sky border. Okay, so this is not the way I'm supposed to do it. I can figure that out. Alright. So there's gotta be a different way up there. How do I get up there? Ooh, like this way? This might just be it. We'll go this way first. Oh, I see. Okay, we'll go this way first. Ooh. This is the last of the thingies I need. What's the achievement? The way forward? I don't know what that means. I've unlocked something, guys. Ooh, okay, I see a goal. I see a goal.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
I really miss camping. I used to go camping a lot when I was younger with my family. And I genuinely miss it. Oh, is it time to go to the tree? Is it tree time? Wait, am I not am I not allowed to dig? Why can't I dig this one? Why can't I dig it? Oh, I did already? No, I didn't. I haven't been to the tree yet. Oh, maybe I have. Oh, no, you're right. I'm stupid. Oh, yeah, because I was... Yep, no, I'm stupid. There's sparkles.
The perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything.
Oh. This feels like running at your future and not being able to slow down, but being terrified of what's at the end of it. God. And the mountains on either side is like, there's no way to change it. You just have to keep going. It's pretty. God. It's a really pretty game. God. Listen, I know this game was emotional. I didn't know it was look back on your life and reflect on everything that you're gonna regret. I didn't realize this was a call up your grandpa when you're done and apologize for everything you've ever said. I miss being outside.
I need to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
Good night. Well, it looks like I ended up passing through anyways, because I couldn't really go anywhere else. Oh. Hello.
Joseph, you can't go to sleep feeling like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you. You don't need to feel so lost. Joseph, have I ever told you what my mother was like?
God, this is pretty. A different experience.
You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami cranes while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself. I think we both have always loved animals, and for me that love started with a dog. Sometimes this Rottweiler would come up to our property line and wait at the fence for me, but only once in a while. I was sure to check every day immediately after school, and it usually ended in disappointment. I would even steal money from my passed out dad just so I could buy these off-brand dog biscuits. Even when she did stop by, she never went beyond the fence. Why was she so scared? I think my dad was the opposite of your dad in almost every way, except he was in the military as well. He coped with alcohol of every kind. The trailer started falling apart, he got angry, and
Trigger
I
warning.
withdrew. More and more I became the weird, quiet kid who made lots of origami birds and carried dog biscuits around. I think we were pretty similar when it came to being the weird kids. And that same sincerity in college was one of the reasons I was so drawn to you. Life got worse and worse, and at one point, I really didn't think I could survive another day with my soul still intact. I had no real friends, let alone neighbors, since we lived in the middle of nowhere. I should have talked to my teacher, but I was scared what he would do if he found out. As I waited for the school bus one morning, I walked around until I found something in an abandoned shed. Something I can't put into words. I summoned courage I didn't know I had, and I broke into my dad's room and found the key to the shed where he had locked my bike. I'll never forget that feeling, of the wind rushing by my ears as the sun rose over fields of wheat. I was flying for the first time. I biked as far as my legs could take me until I found a house that felt friendly, and that felt like home. Those strangers helped me in so many ways. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have found my foster family. And if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have met you. You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach. The thought of being a parent myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son? I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I just don't know how things will work out. These quiet hours will turn into years. We'll wonder which roads passed us by.
Then we'll forge a new road together. Besides, I discovered for myself that one fateful morning where any hopeful road leads to. There may be thorns and mist, but it always leads to the same thing.
And what's that?
Family.
I'm so glad that you're part of my family, Rachel.
And I'm glad you're part of mine.
Oh, not the found family trope. Found family is so important. Because sometimes the families we get don't do what they're supposed to. And we just need someone else who will. Someone to just be there for us. When they were talking about having a bike and feeling like flying for the first time, I just remembered one of my followers, and I won't even be able to remember which TikTok name it was, but one of the ghost bees had made a TikTok about riding their bike and feeling like they were free for the first time. And it reminded me so much of my own childhood that, like, I almost cried just watching their TikTok. Just watching them be a kid on a bike with freedom for the first time. Just the chance to get out. I think that maybe that's why we all wanted to fly so badly. I wonder if that's it. Just a way to get out. Find somewhere better. Because you know there had to be somewhere. They just, you know, there's somewhere for everyone. It's just finding it. I remember riding my bike for the first time once I really learned how. I didn't learn how to ride a bike until I was in 5th grade. But going down hills as fast as you could and just tipping your head back and letting the wind just take you. It's like the best feeling in the world. God, it's pretty. Taking your hands off the handles and throwing them into the air.
The fox knew her last cub would be waiting for her at the first tree. She was almost there. The rain cascaded onto the jade valley where the entrance to the tree was. Life was protected there, because that's where life began. It was now only a mother and a daughter left. Items from my life still dotted the ground as she moved closer to her destination and destiny.
Oh, this part looks like it's gonna be huge. I'm excited. Ooh, let's go up.
high school, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Drive.
I haven't felt that in a
I
while.
looked into the best architecture schools on the West Coast, then got a dose of reality when looking at other students' portfolios and the high cost of tuition.
Yep.
I still wanted to be something, to be the next Alvaro Siza, and to make those thousands of sketches worth something in my grand history. But now even an internship sounds impossible. Siza helped me understand how essential emotion is in architecture, and he also said light is the real composer of space. I like to think these glints of light, like not finding a job or even a strange dream about a fox, are something I should be thankful for, even if the illuminated space is something I'm less than comfortable with.
I like that idea.
My dad was super supportive with my college plans, to a point. Things were okay until this terrible accident happened. I guess a forklift flipped over due to a bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
So, I have a bunch of nightshade in my
Was
house.
that the last time you talked to him?
No, I called on holidays, and he would call on my birthday. I guess we acted like nothing ever happened, which was stupid. Didn't want to ask about his lumberyard, and I'm sure he didn't want to ask about my job search. I never went back and visited. I think the last conversation we had was about what movies we had seen and what exactly a best boy is in the credits. I thought he would be here so much longer.
Being on the front of a boat is one of the most... I'll resume my thought in a moment.
In the distance, the first tree illuminated the wasteland. She couldn't go home anymore. She did the only thing she was capable of. Moving forward. My dad died alone in the middle of the wilderness. I should have been talking to him more. I should have done a lot of things differently.
If the first tree on Earth brought life with it, if it taught the birds to sing and fly and showed saplings how to grow, what could it do for us?
There was a letter I received yesterday from a name I didn't recognize, with a quote I can't stop thinking about. Death is not the opposite of life, but a part of it. More and more, I'm realizing one important truth. Each of us have our own journey to the first tree. But sometimes I'm not sure I'm ready to take that first step.
You already have my love.
Death is not the opposite of life. Right. It's just a piece of it. A piece we all experience, and a piece that we'll all meet up inherently at some point or another, in ourself and the people around us. One way or another. We all meet it. The first tree awakens and gently asks if there is one last message the fox wants to tell her children. She replies back and says, "We are just a piece of a world much bigger than us. Breathe. Smile. Rejoice. Love yourself. Love others. Live." I'll go serious for this one. It feels right. And that's my message to all of you. To my children.
I guess her journey was over. But I have no idea. It was only a dream. A distraction from tomorrow.
I don't think dreams normally bring back to memory so many important feelings. Maybe it was just a dream, but it was also a gift.
Yeah, I suppose. But tomorrow we're getting on a plane to the last place on Earth I want to be. The only person that would have made the trip worth it is gone.
You're going to see him and be with him one last time before you say goodbye. I have one last quote for you by Emerson, sealed in an imaginary letter from me to you. It is the secret of the world that all things subsist and do not die, but only retire a little from sight and afterward return again. Go to sleep, my love. We have a big day tomorrow, but I'll be there with you every step of the way.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. Good night, Rachel.
Good night, Joseph.
Yeah, shout out to Rachel. Oh, 6 months later. My deep fear of death is quaking right now. I used to be terrified of death. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh. Oh, I'm much too tall. This is inaccurate. Where are my feet? Rachel? Is that you? Put your dogs away. Rachel out here sleeping with her dogs out. I ain't down with this. Okay. Can I... Oh. Outdoor junk. Ooh, oh. God, this is, like, really creepy. Ugh. Hippo? God. Nursery. God, this is giving me, like, horrifying vibes. I don't like that I can hear this clock. Oh god, I don't like that I can hear the wind. No, I don't like any of this. Ah, yes. Bricks are for kids and puffies. Captain Puffy? Is that you? Okay. Let's head outside. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh. That right there. That right there. That's it. It doesn't get better than that. Wow. God, that's pretty. That is ridiculously pretty. God, that's pretty. I know for a fact I should probably be heading towards the truck, but I don't know. Feels more correct going this way. Yeah, now the game turns into Slender. Just takes a hard left. Guys, it's the tent. Oh.
What the hell?
Fuck. Jesus Christ. God, the music. God, the view. Wow. Oh, the rain. When I used to hear the violin, I always used to think about being in middle school and how much I hated practicing it, but how much I loved playing it. And I don't think about that anymore. Every time I hear a violin, I just think about Ollie and how excited she is when she talks about it, and how passionate she is about the songs that have violin in it, and just passion and excitement and happiness just at the beauty of music. That's what violins make me think of. Just think about her. Rainbow. Wow.
What is this?
Tree. I wonder what there is to teach us. What do we get to learn today? No matter how bad the road traveled gets, you must always keep your head held high and keep moving forward. Wow. It's beautiful. That was like insanely beautiful. Oh! Would you like to anonymously submit your statement to the first tree to an online moderated database that may appear randomly to other players? So that last tree was somebody else's message. No matter how hard the road gets, you have to keep your head up and keep going. That was somebody else's last message. Somebody else told us that, and now we get to tell ours to someone else. God, that was beautiful. Oh, and to know that that last message wasn't from the game, that was from someone else who had gone through it. I was gonna say that message was a bit different than everyone else, the rest of the story. The rest of the story was like memory and childhood and forgiveness and family. And then to hear someone else say, like, you know, to hear someone else say, like, you have to keep going, you have to keep moving. So maybe I'm biased, but holy crap was that pretty.